All right. Hey, everyone. We're diving into something really, really thought-provoking today.
Oh, yeah.
You guys sent in this essay. It's called Breaking the Illusion. I love that title.
Breaking the illusion.
Breaking the Illusion. How to Wake Up and Reclaim Your True Purpose by Joseph Aminian. And it is, well, it's deep.
Sounds intense.
But it's also, like, really funny.
Really?
So we're going to try and get to the bottom of all this.
Sounds like a good challenge.
I think so. Now, the first thing that really jumps out, right, is this idea of waking up.
Yeah, he uses that a lot.
But he doesn't mean just like, getting out of bed.
Right. It's more than that. It's more like becoming aware, like really aware.
Aware of yourself, your life, like what you're actually doing here.
Yeah, that. And he kicks it off by talking about this huge illusion we all chase.
Wonder.
Happiness.
Oh, happiness, yeah.
Always chasing happiness.
Always.
And Aminian's like, hold on a sec. He doesn't think we should chase it.
He's not saying don't be happy, but he thinks chasing it all the time might be the problem. It's like you're never satisfied. You're always looking for the next hit.
I can see that.
He compares it to like a mirage in the desert,
Oh, I see.
You think you're getting closer to this oasis of happiness, but it's always just out of reach.
It's never really there.
And you're just stuck in the desert.
So what's the alternative then? If we're not supposed to chase happiness, what are we supposed to do?
Well, that's a lot about the body, like really listening to your body.
Interesting.
He uses this metaphor.
Okay.
It's like your body is a symphony orchestra.
Okay, I like that.
All these different parts working together.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, your feelings, physical sensations.
Right.
It's all connected. It's all making this music.
So we need to listen to the music.
Exactly.
Tune in.
Even if it's not always, a happy tune.
Even if it's a little off-key sometimes. You got to listen to the whole thing.
To understand what's going on. And to do that, Aminian talks about this thing called interoception.
Interoception.
It's basically like learning to understand the language your body speaks.
Oh, so like those subtle signals.
Yeah. Those gut feelings, the aches and pains.
When you're tired, when you're hungry.
He says you got to feel it all the way down to the cellular level.
Wow. That's pretty deep.
It's deep, but it's also practical. Like if you're always ignoring those signals.
You're going to miss something important.
Exactly.
So how do we start doing that? How do we start listening?
Well, Aminian's got some ideas about that. And it might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It involves silence and stillness.
Silence and stillness.
Yeah, like really quieting down.
I can see how that might be helpful.
He talks about creating this clean room in your mind.
Oh, interesting. A clean room.
Yeah. No clutter, no distraction.
So you can actually hear yourself think.
And feel and just be.
It's almost like hitting the pause button on everything.
Right. And he even connects this silence to connecting with something bigger, like a higher power, or what he calls the source.
Okay, yeah. He does talk about that a lot.
But he's not talking about any specific religion or dogma.
Right. It's more about that inner connection.
Yeah, that sense of being part of something larger.
Mm.
And that brings us to another really key part of his message. Facing your shadows.
What does he mean by that?
Like the dark stuff. The stuff we try to hide.
Oh, our fears and insecurities.
All that. And he says that's where the real growth happens.
In the darkness.
Yeah. It's like if you're afraid to look at those parts of yourself.
You're never going to fully understand who you are.
Right. You're stuck in this loop of numbing and avoidance.
And you're not really living.
He says it straight up. There's this line that really hit me.
What is it?
He says, their lives never truly begin within their own bodies.
Wow.
They do not wake up, not in the morning, not to their lives, and not to the truth of their existence.
That's powerful.
It's like we're all walking around to sleep.
Yeah.
Afraid to face what's really going on inside.
So how do we wake up then? How do we face those shadows?
Well, that's where things get really interesting and a little funny.
Funny? How so?
Because Aminian brings in humor.
Oh, yeah. He does have a great sense of humor.
Like he'll be talking about these really deep philosophical ideas.
Yeah.
And then he'll crack a joke that just totally disarms you.
I love that about him. It makes it all feel so much more accessible.
Right. Like he's not taking himself too seriously.
And he's inviting us to do the same.
Exactly. And he even connects this to Jewish tradition.
Oh, how
Like how humor can be a way of coping with the absurdities of life.
I can see that.
He even tells this great joke about the Shema Yisrael prayer. Yeah, one of the most important prayers in Judaism.
I heard of it.
And it's just so clever how he uses humor to like lighten up this really heavy topic.
It's like he's saying, hey, life is full of paradoxes. And sometimes the best way to deal with them is to laugh.
To find the humor in it all.
It's all part of the awakening process.
Exactly. It's about letting go of our rigid ideas and just embracing the mystery.
The wonder of it all.
Yeah. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already, and we're just getting started.
Wow, there's so much to unpack here.
But before we dive into the next part of Aminian's essay, I want to pause for a second.
Sure.
What's standing out to you so far? What's really resonating?
Well, I think what's really striking me is how Aminian kind of pushes back against this whole idea of needing, like, a savior.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely not into that.
It's like we're always looking for someone or something to fix us.
Like some guru with all the answers?
Yeah. And Aminian's like, nope, you gotta figure this out yourself.
He's even, like, kind of blunt about it sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Like how?
He literally says, like, go see a therapist if you need help.
Oh, wow. Straight to the point.
He's all about taking responsibility, you know?
I can respect that.
Owning your own well-being.
And what's interesting is how he brings in his own, like, Jewish background to illustrate all of this.
Yeah. He talks about traditions, customs, even jokes.
It's cool how he weaves that in.
It's like he's showing how his culture has shaped his understanding of this whole waking up thing.
But he also makes it clear that you don't have to be Jewish to get it.
Right. It's a human thing.
It's about self-awareness, finding your purpose, like we were talking about before.
And he keeps coming back to this idea of waking up, not just spiritually, but physically too.
Oh, interesting. What does he mean by that?
Like even the act of waking up in the morning, he talks about aligning your energy, starting from your core and moving upward.
Okay.
He uses these terms kundalini, like some kind of energy at the base of your spine, and chakras.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, like energy centers in the body.
So waking up physically is like a mini version of this bigger awakening he's talking about.
I think that's what he's getting at.
It's like a metaphor.
And he's very clear that, like, the specific words we use to describe all this, it's not the most important thing.
No, I think he's more focused on the actual experience.
Like, how can we use these ideas to actually live better?
To make better choices, to be more aligned with ourselves.
Yeah. And he's very much about, like, this is your journey.
Oh, so there's no right way to do it?
He even says, I have no interest in confusing myself or anyone else, so I call it what I call it to maintain my sanity.
Okay, that's funny. But I get it.
It's like, find your own language for this.
Well, what works for you?
And don't get caught up in, like, dogma or rituals.
Right. He's not about starting a new religion or anything.
He even says, go ask God if you have questions.
Yeah, that's so Aminian.
Like, go straight to the source. Don't rely on some middleman.
It's about that direct connection.
And he really emphasizes personal responsibility.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here.
He says, my biological vessel only answers the call to serve my soul.
That's a powerful statement.
It's like you're in charge of your own awakening.
No one else can do it for you.
And he's very clear that he's not trying to, you know, promote any organization or anything.
Right.
He says, being a biological Jew is not a religion.
Yeah.
It's a path of self-improvement.
So it's more about the principles than the label.
Exactly. Self-awareness, mindfulness, living with purpose.
That makes sense.
And he talks about how he cultivates this awareness through things like interoception, silence, stillness.
Those practices we talked about before.
Yeah. He's basically describing like a constant state of alertness.
Being present in every moment.
Even amidst chaos.
Wow, that's impressive.
Sounds like he's really mastered this.
But he also makes it clear that, like, anyone can do it.
It's not some superhuman ability.
It's something we can all cultivate.
Through practice, through awareness.
And, you know, he even encourages us to laugh at ourselves along the way.
Oh, yeah, don't forget the humor.
It's like, don't take it all too serious.
It's all part of the journey.
Finding the joy in the absurdity of it all.
Right. And in the end, he reminds us that there's no quick fix.
There's no magic bullet.
We gotta do the work.
Face our fears, you know? Confront our mortality.
That's where the real awakening happens.
And he's not afraid to talk about that, the end of life.
But he doesn't leave us in despair.
Oh, he's hopeful.
He encourages us to keep going, to keep refining our practice.
To find the beauty in the journey.
Even when it's tough.
He even talks about this idea of, like, a spiritual family almost.
Oh, I like that.
A community of people who are on this same path.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah, like we're all in this together. Even though it's a personal journey, you know?
Yeah, we're all figuring it out. But we don't have to do it alone.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've really gone through a lot with Aminian's essay.
We have. So many ideas.
But if you had to sum it up, what would you say is the main takeaway for our listener?
I think he's really issuing a call to action. Like wake up.
Literally and figuratively.
Right.
Break free from all the elusive.
Those things that hold us back. The need for approval, the fear of the unknown.
And just like embrace the present moment.
Be here now.
Connect with that inner source he talks about.
Which, might be different for everyone.
Right. It's your own personal journey.
But it takes work.
It's not going to happen overnight.
You got to be willing to confront the tough stuff.
Keep showing up for yourself.
Day after day.
It's about finding your purpose, finding meaning.
Living in alignment with your values.
And I think ultimately moving beyond just happiness.
Yeah.
To a deeper sense of fulfillment.
Where you're embracing all of it.
The good and the bad, the messy and the beautiful.
It's all part of the experience.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
So much to think about. As we wrap up, I'd love to leave our listener with a question.
Oh, okay, like that.
A question inspired by Aminian's essay.
Hit me with it.
If you could wake up to one truth about yourself and your purpose, what would it be?
Whoa.
What truth would set you free?
That's a really powerful question.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ponder that one.
It's a question that invites us all to go inward, to listen to that inner voice, and trust the wisdom that's already there.
It's inside us all.
So, to our listener out there, sit with that question. What truth awaits your awakening? Start listening, start noticing, start waking up within. Your journey awaits.